Good day everyone, my name is Aristotle Domingo from BSMT-6 and today we're going to discuss IMSCBC code. The International Maritime Solid Bulk Cargoes IMSBC code and amendments to SOLAS Chapter 4 to make the IMSCBC code mandatory were adopted by the Maritime Safety Committee. 85th session in 2008 are set to enter into force on 1st January 2011. The IMSBC code will replace the Code of Safe Practice for Solid Bulk Cargoes, which was first adopted as a recommendatory code in 1965 and has been updated at regular intervals since then. Use of the BC code should be discontinued from 1st January 2011. The aim of the mandatory IMSBC code is to facilitate the safe storage and shipment of solid bulk cargoes. Its aim is to bring to the attention of those concerned an internationally accepted method of dealing with the hazard to safety which may be encountered when carrying cargo in bulk. The IMSBC code highlights the dangers associated with the shipment of certain types of bulk cargoes, give guidance on various procedures which should be adopted, lists common products which are shipped in bulk, gives advices on their properties and how they should be handled, and describes various test procedures which should be employed to determine the characteristics cargo properties. The IMSBC code categorized cargoes into three groups. Group A, cargoes which may liquefy if shipped at a moisture content exceeding their transportable moisture limit. Group B, cargoes which possess a chemical hazard which could give rise to a dangerous situation on a ship. Group C, cargoes which are neither liable to liquefy, Group A, nor possess chemical hazard, Group B. Cargoes in this group can still be hazardous. You can find the group of a particular cargo in its schedule. So what is Group A cargoes? This is the cargoes which may liquefy. What is liquefaction and how does it affect cargo? Liquefaction means that a cargo becomes fluid. On ships, this happens when the cargo is compacted by the ship's motion. Cargoes which are prone to liquefaction contain a certain quantity of moisture and small particles, although they may look relatively dry and granular when loaded. Liquefaction can lead to cargo shift and even to the capsize and total loss of the ship, and can occur even when cargoes are cohesive and trimmed level. This is the examples of Group A cargoes: mineral concentrates, nickel ore, and coal. And the typical requirements for accepting loaned Group A cargoes is to control the risk of liquefaction. Group A cargoes are tested to determine their transportable moisture limit and their actual moisture content before they can be shipped. The TML is the maximum moisture content considered safe for carriage. The actual moisture content of the cargo must be below the TML. So this is the following steps when carrying a Group A cargoes to reduce the risk of liquefaction. First, make sure the shipper has supplied the required information, including the TML and the actual moisture content. Only accept the cargo if the actual moisture content is less than its TML. Carry out visual monitoring during loading. If there are any indications of high moisture content, stop loading and seek further advice. And consider trimming the cargo to reduce the likelihood of cargo shift. Lastly, take measures to prevent water or other liquids entering the cargo space during loading and throughout the voyage. So in Group B, this is the cargoes with chemical hazards. Group B cargoes are classified in two ways within the code: dangerous good in solid form in bulk, and materials hazardous only in bulk. In short, MHP. You will find this information in the characteristics section of the cargo schedule. Cargoes classified as dangerous goods in solid form in bulk will also have a UN number in the bulk carrier shipping name. In the code, these cargoes are classed as follows. Class 4.1 is flammable solids. Class 4.2, substance liable to spontaneous combustion. Class 4.3, substances liable to spontaneous combustion. Class 4.3, substances which in contact with water emit flammable gases. Class 5.1, oxidizing substances. Class 6.1, toxic substances. Class 7, radioactive materials. Class 8, corrosive substances. Class 8, miscellaneous dangerous substances and articles. MHP cargoes are materials which possess chemical hazard when transported in bulk that do not meet the criteria for inclusion in the IMDG classes above. They present significant risk when carried in bulk and require special precautions. They are described as follows. Combustion solids, materials which are readily combustible or easily ignitable. Self-heating solids, materials that self-heat. Solids that evolve into flammable gas when wet. Materials that emit flammable gases when in contact with water solids that involve toxic gas when wet. Materials that emit toxic gas when in contact with water. Toxic solids, materials that are acutely toxic to humans if inhaled or brought into contact with skin. This is the examples of Group B cargoes and the risks they present. Number 1 is coal, direct reduced iron, metal sulfide concentrates, organic materials, ammonium nitrate-based fertilizers, wood product transported in bulk. Wood products, in general, they include logs, pulpwood, roundwood, saw logs, and timber. These cargoes may cause oxygen depletion and increase carbon dioxide in the cargo space and adjacent spaces. This is the typical requirements for accepting and loading Group B cargoes. To carry dangerous goods and solids from in bulk, your ship must have a document of compliances for the carriage of dangerous goods, supplied by the ship's flag or classification society. The master must have a special list, manifest or stowage plan identifying the cargo's location, and there must be instructions on board for emergency response. These are the segregation, fire and explosion, toxic gas, and corrosion. Lastly, the Group C cargoes, which are neither liable to liquefy, not possess chemical hazards. Although Group C cargoes do not present the dangers associated with Group A and B, they can still carry risk. Example of Group C cargoes, the risk and mitigation measures is the iron ore and high-density cargoes. Second, sand and fine materials and particle material, and cement. And that's all for the IMSBC code. Thank you for watching.